My name is Joe. These are just opinions. I am JOEpinionated. Welcome to another episode of Desert Island Playlist. Today's artist is Harry Nilsson. Our guests today are Nate McKay and Jesse Olson. And Nate has his own podcast as well, which is called Between the Stacks. Check it out.
Meet me in the stacks.
Called Meet Me in the Stacks. It's a library podcast, but it's just super entertaining. Cool topics. I've listened to a few episodes. We're going to do 10 songs each. Desert Island playlist, snake draft, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. When the song is taken, you cannot take it. Round one. Youngest to oldest, Jesse, you go first. First pick for your Desert Island playlist, 10 songs each. When the song's taken, you cannot take it.
I'm nervous because I have no idea where, like, there's so much to choose from.
I can go everywhere. This one for me is a bit of a no-brainer though. It's coming off of Nilsson Sings Newman, which is just this unbelievable album of you have Randy Newman, who was one of the greatest writers ever, and then you have Harry Nilsson, who's one of the greatest singers ever, and you combine them together. And what I just recently learned is I just assumed that Randy Newman was established at this point, but he wasn't. He was somewhat established, and he kind of got a little bit of a nudge because Nilsson recorded his songs and played. So that was really interesting for me. So the song is Living Without You, and the multi-track harmonies on this song are just absolutely incredibly stunning. The last part of the song is this ethereal explosion of sadness and joy, packed into that final note that kind of just drifts off into the abyss. And then you're left with this immediate feeling of sadness because now the song has left you and you want it to continue forever. So I can't describe how this song makes me feel, and I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but it might be the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. It's just a stunning song. And obviously the Newman version is great, but with Nilsson's voice, it just puts it over the top for me. It's a slam dunk number one at this point. Living Without You from Nilsson Sings Newman.
I just want to say, go fuck yourself. Because I would have got it before it came back to you.
Am I next?
You're up next.
Okay. Now I'm feeling nervous about Nilsson Sings Newman because that was one of the top two on there for me too. I'm gonna take one off of there just to be safe because I want to get it. Joe's sweating. Are you sweating over there? I'm taking I'll Be Home. Taking I'll Be Home. Both those two from that record. Simple and cutting, and it's just like it says everything that you need to say. It sings it amazingly. So I'm taking it. I'll Be Home.
That was in my top 20.
So my first pick, I'm going with 1941 autobiographical, All the Pain. I actually like the chord progression. It's all in sevens. 1941, a happy father had a son, and in 1944, the father walked right out the door. And then the 61 and the 64, and what he ended up doing was basically walking out on a family as well. It's the first song on Pandemonium Shadow Show, and there's the photo of the calendar. It has a little bit of each song on the cover of the Pandemonium Shadow Show. The drifting off at the end of the 1941 song is kind of gets into this sort of carnival sound as well. Round two. The second song I'm going to go with, it's Desert Island. I'm going to go with Coconut as my second song.
Good choice.
Desert Island. I'll take one of the survival picks away from Nate McKay. Coconut's my second pick. And yeah, technically the first song of his that I knew was Coconut because of Reservoir Dogs soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks ever.
Quentin Tarantino always picked the coolest songs that you didn't quite know, and then you just every single one of them was amazing. That was that era of every one of his soundtracks was just full of songs that you're like, what is this? And it was awesome. And Coconut's an interesting one. I'll Swim to Your Island. I'm gonna take The Most Beautiful World in the World. That's from Son of Schmilson. This song has everything, and it's like a love letter to the world. You're a scary old place out there, world, but I couldn't be happy without you, which is a funny line. And I swear all my thoughts are about you. The most beautiful world in the world. It almost sounds like it's got a Little Mermaid feel to it. It's all upbeat. And then the end, it has an amazing breakdown, and it gets a little serious there. And right at the end, it's you're getting older, look over your shoulder to look back to see if it's real. Tell her she's beautiful. Roll the world over and give her a kiss and a feel. And that's the end of the record. So it's one of those songs that makes you laugh, it makes you cry, and then it's the last song on the album. I'm going to take The Most Beautiful World in the world.
I'm really bummed about that. I've been listening to that song all day today. That song
Yeah.
shot up my list.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's kind of like hidden on Son of Schmilson as well too. It's his best song title by far. It's very Ween to me. Like it's such a Ween, maybe even Weird Al as well too. And the lyrics, another lyric that stood out to me. I love the way you wear your trees.
It's goofy,
Yeah.
but it also had just made you cry.
My next pick is going to be, it's my favorite song from Aerial Ballet. It's Don't Leave Me. There's just so much packed into 2 minutes and 19 seconds of that song, from the beautiful lyrical opener, the climactic build to the Don't Leave Me Baby chorus, the randomness of dropping in the Beatles with beep, 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 yeah, from Driving My Car, the scatting, the high-pitched howling, the building desperation. Don't Leave Me from Aerial Ballet is just this beautifully perfect short song.
Third round.
I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. I'm sure this one's high on both of your lists. My first from Son of Schmilson, You're Breaking My Heart. The ultimate Nilsson doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do after the success of Nilsson Schmilson, battled, producer Richard Perry on this Son of Schmilson album, just did himself. There's many great breakup songs in the world. And I think in your original podcast, you referenced Ben Folds' song for the Dump.
The song You're Breaking My Heart. So you
dumped, but this one might take the cake. There's a lyric that always just that stood out for me too when I listened to it. Just so random, like it's that random hairiness again too. You stepped on my ass, you're breaking my glasses too, just like out of nowhere, just dropping that in there. I'm going insane. There's no one to blame, so fuck you. You're breaking my heart. Son of Schmilson.
And so many people packed onto the Son of Schmilson album as well. How many different people? I know Peter Frampton's all over that album. I think he's on
Harrison on that one.
George Harrison, yeah, slide guitar. And that's what they sang at his grave when they were lowering the casket in. George Harrison said that's my favorite song of his, and they all sang it together as they're standing there. Mentioning earlier in a group chat too, Lowell George is on the album. Peter Frampton's on quite a few songs. Ringo Starr. I mean, every album's pretty stacked with big time players.
I'm acting a little strategically here because I have 6 records that I want to get in here, but I got to be strategic because I think you guys might have your favorite records. Son of Schmilson isn't going to be a problem for me because I started writing down my favorite songs from there, and I think there's 9. Nilsson Schmilson, a lot of the record names are fantastic. Nilsson Schmilson, I've taken a last song. I'm going to take a first song. I'm going to take Gotta Get Up. Perfect. Wake up in the morning and put that song on. Gotta Get Up. Piano off the bat, and we're off to the races. Being old and gotta get up. It's hard to stay up all night anymore and party.
Still so pissed off.
I thought you were frozen, but no. I think you're just thinking really hard about
just trying to read. I don't know why I picked some stupid font and I can barely fucking read it. I'm gonna turn on your radio.
No,
from 1972. I'm taking Turn On Your Radio first.
Son of Schmilson.
Oh, Son of Schmilson. Shit, yeah, that's right. Sorry. So that's Peter Frampton playing the guitar on that track on Turn On Your Radio. Beautiful, pretty. Love the melodies, just love the flow. Round number 4. And my second choice, I'm going to go with, absolutely love his version of Let the Good Times Roll. So I'm going to take that as my second track here, also off of Nilsson Schmilson.
Joe took Turn On Your Radio,
yeah,
which is very sad for me because that's up there for me.
Joe, number 5 for me. Number 5.
and then Let the Good Times Roll. He took Let the Good Times Roll. I'm getting a little nervous about some of the Son of Schmilson stuff that's going on here. I'm going to take my second song from that album. It's going to be I'd Rather Be Dead. If you haven't seen the video, watch the video of him playing the song. He's got like a seniors choir singing all the parts. Got some anytime there's a bunch of old men singing a song together, that's enough for me. On the face of it, seems like a big joke. I don't think it is. I'd rather be dead than wet the bed. The line that always gets me is, you've got the ladies singing, you got Nilsson singing along, they're having a little party, and then they got the old men at the end, they stand up and they say, I'll tie my tie till the day I die. But if I have to be fed, I'd rather be dead.
I'm going to take another more famous one. I'm going to take, I think it's my first from Nilsson Schmilson, Jump Into the Fire. Song's such a jam. I obviously go to Goodfellas right away when I hear this song, coked out, paranoid, with a paper bag full of handguns. Henry Hill looking up at the copper, the choppers up there, just super paranoid in the car. The screams, the awesome guitar solo, the drum solo. I think it's from the drummer from Derek and the Dominoes. Just unbelievable music going on in that as well too. That's his best band performance. Like that to me is just like this long jam session of just so much going on musically in there as well too.
Did you by chance watch my episode on Harry Nilsson that I did before?
I did. Did I steal what you said?
Okay, remember to like and subscribe to shit. We're at number 1 now. Be normal, live and let live. Number 1 comes off of Harry Nilsson's Nilsson Sings. I'm going with Jump Into the Fire. Did you by chance notice my number 1 song? You're just gonna fucking
that was your number 1. Was that your number 1? Oh fuck, Joe. Well, maybe you should have taken it.
Dick move, dude.
Yeah.
Dick move.
You know? I'm still upset about turn on your radio.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead. Living without you, I'll trade it for fucking the next 3 picks.
We're even, Steven.
Fifth round.
Second pick for me is going to be I probably not on your guys' list. I'm going to guess pre-1972 Harry. I hear so much McCartney. As Joe knows, I'm a massive Paul McCartney, obviously a big Beatles fan, but massive Paul McCartney fan. And the song that I'm picking from is from Harry, and it's Mother Nature's Son. And so Beatles cover. I think it's his best Beatles cover, and that considering the one track that he does 18 different songs in one. I think of this as just such a McCartney song. So knowing Mother Nature's Son is just this beautiful song, and I couldn't ever imagine anybody else singing this song until I heard Harry sing it. And Harry arguably sings it better. McCartney just has one of those unique, beautiful melodic voices that is just hard to top in so many ways, but Harry's a step above in a lot of ways. And, you know, it probably makes Joe really happy to hear me say that. Gorgeous. And it just elevates it. So Mother Nature's Son from Harry.
Shocked to hear you say that, to be honest with you.
We're far away from some of the records that I've got my favorites on. So I think they might be saved. I think I'm gonna go to The Point. I'm gonna go to The Point. Are we into The Point? Do you listen to The Point? Did they talk about The Point in the documentary? I love The Point. The Point is great. He made a weird kids album. I think he did some acid and came up with a story and made a kids album out of it. And some of the songs on it are really amazing. I'm gonna take Me and My Arrow. That's the song of the record for me from that one. Me and My Arrow. What a groove. An arrow is a dog. It's about a dog.
I didn't know that until I saw the Point years later, after I was only familiar with this song because of Black Alicious.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I get both.
And shout out to my buddy Cohen, who, when I started listening to these guys, or Harry Nilsson, I mentioned the documentary to my buddy Cohen, and he's like my favorite show growing up, or one of my favorite shows was The Point.
Yeah.
And he's a Harry Nilsson junkie as well.
So, but a guy who doesn't have a point. He doesn't have a point. Everyone has a point. He doesn't have a point. The guy that you go and talk to, and he's like, well, you know, if you have a point in all directions is the same as no point at all.
I'm gonna go with I Will Take You There is my first one. Round number 6. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Many Rivers to Cross with the duet with John Lennon. It's a John Lennon song. It doesn't sound like Harry Nilsson at all to me. It sounds 100% like a John Lennon track. If you had played it for me, I would have just assumed it was John Lennon. Famously, this is when his vocal cords go when they're in the studio having fun, and he was afraid to kind of tell John that he was sort of in trouble, and he had like a ruptured vocal cord or something like that. And that was it. After that, it's like, guy's got no voice. It sucks. It's a sad story.
Many Rivers to Cross reminds me of Mother when Lennon belts that out. He's kind of doing that scream thing.
Off of, Plastic Ono Band, my favorite John Lennon solo record, and my favorite Beatles solo record. McCartney 2 is pretty cool though.
Actually, I'm introducing a new record here that I don't think anybody has touched yet. Sandman. This is one of those weird later ones. There's like a 5-minute skit about UFOs. How to Write a Song is great on there, but I'm not taking that. The one I'm going to take, which has been like one of my favorites for years, I listen to it on Thursdays, and it's a Thursday today. It's Thursday. Here's Why I Did Not Go to Work Today. Amazingly sung, lazy song about here's why I didn't go to work today. Thursday's just a crazy, lazy day. Let's go have a picnic. It's absolutely perfect. And it's really going to mellow me out on my island. A good one to have when I can't go to work, to sit back, chill out.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I was sort of worried because he had the theme go on during the cake.
I sure did. And I could have gone that way. That's a good island pick.
And you had mentioned you had played this song for the kiddos, and did the kids this album, sorry, did the kids like it?
Yeah, they like it. Well, they picked it, right? So like I get them to pick a record and they just pull out that one. It's like, what is this?
Just by the cover?
Just by the cover. You got to judge it by the cover. He's sitting on the beach. He's got a bottle of wine. On the back, he's been eaten by a crab.
I'm going to go off of the Son of Dracula soundtrack. I'm going to go Daybreak, and this is my 2-year-old's favorite Harry song, so immediately cracks my top 10. First time I played it for him, he jumped up with this amazing little grin, just started dancing to it. It's a really sad song. It's like a really depressing song, but it just has this joyful feel at the same time. Here comes the daybreak. It's bringing me pain, causing me heartache. I wish it would rain. It has a great punchline at the end too. The whole song, Harry's saying that he's sad from the daylight, the sunlight, the daybreak, the sunshine, and the only thing that can save him is a total eclipse. So just that, like, that's the end, and then it cuts off.
Round 7.
And then I'm going to cheat for my next one. I'm going to take something that's not off of an album, that's off of the BBC special, The Music of Nilsson, 1971. Can I do that, Joe?
No, because I already took it.
Well, you took a part of it. And to me, the best part of it is the Walk Right Back section. So I want to take the Walk Right Back, Kathy's Clown, Let the Good Times Roll medley.
So do I.
Okay, then go back and re-record it. I can pick something else, but I love the Walk Right Back. Otherwise, I would have just went with straight up Everly Brothers cover of Walk Right Back, which is the strongest part of that for me.
Okay, sure, whatever. Yeah,
It's too good. Like, how do you leave that off?
I didn't. I picked
Well,
the one song from it.
The last little section. Type that one up, Joe.
Cheater YouTube pick. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And Jesse and I both grew up on Everly Brothers. An important thing came up. I think it was when I was researching Public Enemy, actually, and I think it was Chuck D that said it. And he said, if you when you run out of people to like, get interested in or like look into your heroes. This Nilsson Does Newman album has now turned me on to Randy Newman. Sturgill Simpson loved John Prine, and I didn't even discover John Prine until after Sturgill Simpson said that he was his favorite artist and all this sort of stuff. And then I looked, and Roger Waters said that he was like, anyways, yeah, your heroes.
How many of you? I feel like every time you guys get 2 and I get 1, so I may have less songs
I got
than you.
7, I think, right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nate, you have 1, 2.
Okay, so I got 6. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take another one off of a record that no one has touched, and I don't know if anybody will. A bit of a veer left, all old, like 100-year-old tunes. A little touch of Schmilsson in the Night. I got that in like a 99-cent record bin. That was after I'd had Nilsson Schmilsson. I said, oh, what is the little touch of Schmilsson in the Night? Beautifully orchestrated, him singing great old tunes. This one is I looked it up. This song is now 100 years old. It Had to Be You. I'm gonna take It Had to Be You from A Little Touch of Schmilsson in the Night, just in case things turn romantic on my island.
I kind of want to do that on one of the future ones where we're like, okay, on this time we're like, it's like Robinson Crusoe, or like we're bringing our family, or like certain situations where it's like, okay, what would you bring if you had your wife with you, or your partner with you, or your kids with you, or something like that.
This is like a great record to put on if you're like having dinner. They're all really middle of the road. The orchestral arrangements are great, and the singing is top notch, right? It's one long song. They all bleed into each other. It's really well done.
They mentioned in the doc that he said his voice was like at a place where it felt really good at the time, and that's why he pulled together the orchestra and did those songs.
Yeah, like I don't think people were doing that at that point. Like now everybody does it.
Not to do it too. That was the thing in the doc. They're like,
okay,
everybody advised him not to do that, and he's like, no, I'm fucking doing that.
Right. And now everybody, like once they hit a certain age, like now I'm doing my Great American Songbook.
My next pick comes off of the Newman album. It's one of my favorite songs, I guess. It's Love Story. I'm gonna take that one. Just kind of a long, sort of rambly, beautiful song.
Round 8.
You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Desk. Good old Desk.
Okay.
In the documentary, it mentions that he's talking about God, and that's his way of doing it. It's such a friggin' funny way of doing it. Beautiful. Love the way that the outro on that one as well. Good old Desk.
I got to make some hard calls here. We're at number 7, so I only got 3 left. I'm going to take a little something off Son of Schmilsson again. Still a lot left on that. I still have 1, 2, 3, 5 songs off that record.
One is still available.
Fuck it, I'm taking one. One's amazing. One's a great tune. I was reading about it today, and apparently, like, he wrote the song. He called someone. I guess he was inspired by. He called someone, and the line was busy. And that became the beginning of the song. I'm taking 1.
And you mentioned it earlier, Nate. Amy Mann covered it for my favorite movie of all time, Magnolia.
There you go.
Exceptional. And the fact that it didn't win Best Picture is a travesty. It is my favorite film of all time. It is my number 1 favorite film of all time. That's a crazy thing to say, like, definitively, right?
So in my head, I get the Amy Mann version too.
You get both. And you get, if you want it, you get the 3 Dog Night version too, if you want it. If you want. Throw it in. You might be feeling in a three.
Maybe.
We had that conversation. We were doing the 1999 movie list on this channel. There's
Forgot.
also links in the description for some of the stuff we're talking about. We'll have some videos. The one that Jesse took is a YouTube video, so there'll be a link for that in there. But we were talking about Magnolia on the soundtrack and how much it meant to us.
I probably watched the movie one time and didn't really get it. Saw people singing the song. I think Kevin Kuriata, who I played with in Radio Star, played one at solo shows, and I was like, this song's awesome.
Shout out to Radio Star, holding a
There you
9-0
go.
band.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my first off of Pussycats. I'm gonna go with Don't Forget Me. Just a beautifully sad song, and it's kind of that same, you can hear the voice going, and everything that he sings with is just this pure sadness. And when we're older and full of cancer, it doesn't matter now. Come on, get happy, because nothing lasts forever, but I will always love you. Beautiful song. Don't Forget Me off of Pussycats.
It's round 9. It's round 9.
And then I'm going to go with back to Aerial Ballet, the most beautiful song to feature wah-wahs in it. The song takes me to, it's I Say Goodbye to Me. I Say Goodbye to Me from Aerial Ballet. The song takes me back to earlier points in my life, makes me think about like major life changes, making tough decisions, moving away, leaving family and friends behind. And after you learn about what happens with Nilsson's early life, you can feel the sadness in his voice as he sings about what he's leaving. I Say Goodbye to Me, Aerial Ballet.
Back to me. This is number 9. I'm going to take The Lottery Song. Is that on anyone's list? The Lottery Song.
Yeah, I love the Lottery Song.
I love The Lottery Song. And I don't totally know why. Let the Wheel of Fortune spin. It's a bunch of different scenarios for how things could work out. That could have been higher. Lottery Song. I'm surprised no one took it. Maybe I'll work as a plumber and we'll get a trailer.
It's such a great album.
Looking at my list of how many songs I've got from each album, like that one is just like, oh no, I could pick 9.
1971, the one that won him a Grammy, Without You, off of Nilsson Schmilsson, his version of the song. One of maybe the greatest vocal performance ever, or one of them anyways, like high up there.
Last pick round 10. Pick round 10.
Yeah, I'm going with it. I'm going to take from 1967, one of his first songs that he ever wrote and got big on. I'm going to go with Cuddly Toy, the one the Monkees covered. Incredible songwriting. I like the Monkees version too. Cuddly Toy, 1967.
This is my final one. I'm going to go back to The Point, which is kind of surprising to me because
I'm really nervous here because my last one I think is going to be The Point, so I'm super nervous on what you're going to pick.
A lot of his songs are like hanging out songs and hanging out records, and there's like a casualness to them. And I think this song is a bit of that too. It's think about your troubles. Sitting at the breakfast table, think about your troubles. Pour yourself a cup of tea and think about the bubbles. And then it goes on a journey like that. So much stuff happens in that song. It goes places. Great song. Think about your troubles.
So was that your pick, Jesse, from The Point? Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
Oh, that's great. See, this, what I love about this process is that you unearth, everybody has so many different ways to go. It's so rich.
We are blessed with music.
Absolutely. And I'm always like, oh, everyone's going to take these exact things. And then nobody wants any of my stuff.
What's weird though, too, is like that was there. And I've just been doing so much swapping and it was actually there and I swapped it out. Another Point song. I just didn't want to overdo the Point. Point's so good, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Joe, you're gonna hit like Polly High, such a great song.
Yeah.
But it's not my last pick. I'm gonna go with The Point because I don't have The Point yet. He performs it in the BBC special. It's Lifeline. It grew on me from the first time I heard it. I thought it was just kind of like a throwaway song, but Lifeline, he does that weird kind of thing.
Is there anybody out there?
Yeah. Send me a lifeline. It's a great song, and I think it's one of those ones where the more I listen to it, I think it's going to creep closer up my top 10. It's my favorite song from The Point. I love Me and My Arrow too, but Lifeline is number 10 for me.
How long have you been a fan of Harry Nilsson?
So I figured it out. I figured out exactly when it was. It was 1999, which is when the movie Magnolia came out, which I didn't like at the time, but it had an amazing soundtrack. One of the songs on there was One, and it was an Amy Mann version of it, which is amazing. And then I think everybody started playing that song around town. Like that would be like you go to the bar and everyone was just playing One, follow the breadcrumbs to get into Harry Nilsson from there. And I bought Nilsson Schmilsson, that record. And that was the starting point for me. So I remember exactly when it was. It was 1999 for me.
3 months ago, I couldn't have given you a top 10 list on Harry Nilsson. And today I could give you a top 50 on Harry Nilsson. So over the last 3 months, I've gone absolutely crazy outside of being a parent and working. everything in my headphones has been Nilsson nonstop. It started with the documentary. It's one of those things too where, it's like, oh man, I wish I discovered something early. I'm glad I didn't discover this early, because this is like a treat now in my 40s.
Yeah.
Every single day discovering something new. And that's so cool. So it's so fresh for me right now. I bought the album, Nilsson Schmilson's the first album I bought 3 months ago, right around the time that I watched the documentary, who is Harry Nilsson, was everybody talking about him? And so it's so fresh for me, and I'm just really excited to talk about how amazing he is.
For sure. Amy Mann's version of One on Magnolia was also my intro. On the other hand, at that time, I was already into Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And Coconut was on the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack. Those were the initial things. And then when Netflix came out, or when I first got it, I kept seeing the Who is Harry?
Who is Harry Nilsson? Why is everybody talking about him?
One day I finally clicked on it. I had no idea he was a musician. And then when I watched it, I was like, oh my God. Went out and I bought Nilsson Schmilsson. Short period of time, it's pretty sweet how much you've come to kind of like them or whatever. And your picks are a lot different, honestly. They're a lot more mature picks, I guess, than I thought you were gonna go with the hits, but I didn't realize you've been listening for 2 months straight or whatever.
Yeah, I've been listening for 2 months straight. Yeah, also, I've been talking to a lot of people about Harry Nilsson lately, and the amount of times that people that like music, I've been like, who? Like, honestly, who? That's been so shocking to me. But I've always known who Harry Nilsson is, right? I was a big, movie snob because of you, Joe, too, in my late teens, early 20s. And so I watched Midnight Cowboy, right? So I knew everybody's talking. So I always knew who Harry Nilsson was from that song. But I think back then, if you were to ask me about him, I probably would have just said, oh, like a one-hit wonder, right? Like, little did I know how fucking good he is. Because I didn't really know anything else he did after that and then you're like, oh, he's the Coconut guy? It wasn't for these last 2 months where I did this insane deep dive. And like I said, like, I have a list on my Spotify. That's how I order them. I have 50 songs that I could I'd be okay with 49. By the way, 49 is Morning Glory Story from Harry, just in case you wanted to know
it's
that.
a good song.
What was his biggest hit, by the way? I don't even know.
It's got to be Without You, I think.
Without You. Yeah, it's so funny because I actually took a lot of simp picks. I ended up taking Coconut shit. But yeah, Without You.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking.
Everybody's talking. Nobody took Everybody's talking. That's a great tune.
I watched Midnight Cowboy for the first time 2 days ago.
For the first time?
Yeah.
Wow. I swear we would have talked about that.
Man, Dustin Hoffman is so good in that movie.
So good. Rato Rizzo.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a really good movie. I love that Nilsson talks about it in that documentary too. And he's just like, I watched the movie. He's like, this might be the best movie I've ever seen. He's like,
that he originally wrote, I Guess the Lord Must Be in New York City for that, and it got replaced last minute. He's kind of bummed because he didn't write Everybody's Talking. So
hey guys, it's been awesome. Desert Island Playlist, Harry Nilsson. Yeah, if you don't know Harry Nilsson, to my kids for sure, and I'm sure to all our kids, like, check him out. An amazing songwriter and very influential. The documentary, Who is Harry Nilsson and Why is Everybody Talking About Him? Is that what it's called again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, that's great too. Vote in the comments. Sorry, I'm a little low on facts, high on opinions. Respect to Harry Nilsson. Respect to Nate McKay. You can meet him between the stacks on his podcast. Is it called Meet Me Between the Stacks?
Meet Me in the Stacks.
Yeah. Meet Me in the Stacks, the podcast.
Meet Me in the Stacks, yeah.
Very entertaining. Check it out. Thanks again for coming on the show again, Jesse and Nate. Westside to La Dizza. We out.